Alright, on the 1980 Trans Am, I put all this stuff back on. I got the wire marked that needs the 12 volt switched. It's that brown wire. Goes right in the side there of that grommet. It comes out the grommet, but I'm going to let Christopher do that because I'm fat. I can't hardly reach in there. I got the back all painted up. It's still wet. I have got a few runs in it, but oh well, can't see it that good. But the interior's back in. And I made a mistake. I should have messed with that wire after I put the carpet in. But Christopher can fit in there. He can get in there and he can do that. So he'll have to get under the dash and find where that wire comes out, and then we'll just run it to the fuse box to switch 12 volt source. And the torque converter came in. So tomorrow I'm going to put the torque converter in. Then we'll put the transmission back in the car. And then I changed the nitrous jet to 65 jet. There's some other stuff in this box. I forgot what. There's stuff in this box too. I don't know what's in what. And that big box over there is a Kirky racing seat. That's going to go on the driver's side, but I got to have Chris here before I can do that. So this has the Kirky seat cover. Got the Kirky mounts. And it's got a 5-point harness. Getting safety with this thing. And these are the racing harness tabs. These weld onto the cage. So that's what that box is. Alright, and this box has our spring shim kit, because we got to take about 50 thousandths out of the springs so they don't float on us no more. And here's our 65 nitrous jet. So that's on the list to do also. That stuff's for another day. Next thing we're doing, putting the transmission in. I'm going to go over how to put the torque converter on. A lot of people seem to have problems with that. And some torque converters are a pain in the butt. But you just got to keep spinning it until you hear it plop down 3 times. It'll fall down, click, fall down, click. But yeah, we'll go over that. Torque converter's in. I'm going to save that for tomorrow. Alright, so I lied. I didn't make a video putting the torque converter in the transmission. I forgot. But I'm putting the transmission in all by myself. Again, just rolled the transmission over on its side, slicked the jack under here, rolled it back on top, and then I just used these extensions and stuck in here and pried forward, backwards, side to side, whichever way I needed to go. And this one sucked because the ears don't clear the headers. So I had to jack it up way back here and then bring it forward. And it ain't easy to move it like that. You gotta stick those under there and pry it. But I got that side in. The other side over there. Now I'm just trying to get this side to line up. I'm just trying to see where I'm at. I started a bolt over there, but I don't know how good it started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the tail of the transmission and pull it towards me and see if it'll jump up on there. But first we're going to see if the dowel pins are lined up. But then that piece has to go in. I hope I can pull the transmission down far enough to put that in, because I know there was 3 of us last time trying to put that in with the transmission. And it doesn't even clear the floor pan. You actually got to push up on the floor pan. So I don't know how I'm going to get that in by myself, but we'll see. Alright, so I pulled the back of the transmission over, and it jumped right on the dowel pin. And I put the middle bolt in right there on both sides. And then on the other side, I was able to snake this thing in, fortunately, from the other side. It's too tight on this side because it's big fat ear. This got bigger here on this side. So now I'm just trying to put the dipstick in. It's best if you lube the bottom of that dipstick to where it goes in that rubber grommet. It slides in easier, but now I'm trying to get the whole line up for the dipstick and that bracket. And Austin's supposed to come over and help me. I think I hear him out there. So hopefully he can hold the dipstick. Because the dipstick has to go behind that bracket and the bolt has to go through it. And then the bolt has to go through the bracket too. So see if we can get that lined up and get that in there. All right, got the cross member in. Got all the transmission bolts tightened up. Got the transmission dipstick in. Even got the flex place shield on there. That wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. We got the shifter back on. And this one, it's got the modulator on there, but we don't use it. Now, all that's left is torque converter bolts. I'm going to do that here in a minute, but first, I'm going to check the rear end fluid since I'm back here. It's got an Allen wrench in it, so I got to go get the Allen wrenches. All right, transmission is in, heat shield's in, everything's good to go. Dummy me forgot to put the transmission lines on when the transmission was hanging. If the transmission's hanging, you don't have the cross member or anything like that in, put your transmission lines on then, because if you put your cross member up and the transmission's up inside there, it's hard to get those transmission lines on. But I was able to get it. Austin helped me. Now, and these are the AM fitting lines. If you're doing them steel lines, man, they're almost impossible to get lined up. They're hard to get lined up, period. That's why I always switch my transmissions over to this AM line. It's just better and it's easier to work with. The ones with the metal lines, I mean, if you don't get them perfectly straight, you strip the threads out, they don't seal, and I mean, it's hard to get them lined up. Even when you got the back of the transmission hanging down, it's hard to get them lined up. But yeah, it's all in. Everything's done. Tomorrow I'll put some fluid in it. I got to get some spray paint because there are some spots underneath the car that we didn't hit with paint where we did the floor pans. And I'll just put some transmission fluid in it. I'm going to start off with 8 quarts. I put 1 quart in the converter. And then we'll start it up and see if it'll switch gears. That'll be tomorrow. We got to put it back on the ground, but I got to paint on it before I put it back down on the ground. But yeah, that's it. Trans Am's about ready. June 18th, we're going to be at Kentucky Dragway, and we're going to try for that 9 again. But I got to tighten up. I got to tighten the springs up a little bit because we're getting some valve float. We was blowing through the quart. We was blowing through the converter and getting valve float, and still ran a 1011 at 132. So if we address both of those issues, it should easily go into the 9s. I'm thinking like a 9.6 to 9.8, but we'll see. Y'all like and subscribe. Have a great day.